Friday, November 12th, Christy Giles and two of her friends went to a Halloween party at Soho House in West Hollywood. They had a good time, but when the party ended, Christy and her friend did not return home. What happened at this party? Christy Giles was born on November 5th, 1997, and grew up in the small town of Mount Olive, Alabama. She was an incredibly beautiful and bright girl to whom everyone paid attention. It was impossible to take one's eyes off of her. The girl took second place in the Miss Alabama beauty pageant. Christy signed her first contract in the modeling business at the age of 14. The girl earned money and was independent from her parents. At the age of 18, she moved to Los Angeles, California at the invitation of a major modeling agency. The 24-year-old Christy was a successful photo model, shot for fashion magazines and in advertisements for major brands, and also tried out for movies as an actress. The girl was close to her parents and older sisters, one of whom recently got married. She adored animals. In 2019, Christy met John Sillers, whom she married a year later on the 31st of August, 2020. They were a beautiful and loving couple. Her husband was an entrepreneur and owned his own sweet shop. On Friday, 12th November, Christy Giles, Hilda Marcella, Cabrales Arzola, and another friend, name unknown, went to a party to celebrate Halloween. The girlfriends weren't big party people, but Halloween was always something they went out to celebrate. Christy's husband had gone to visit his father all weekend in San Francisco and couldn't go with the girls. But Christy and one friend didn't return from the party. Around 5 o'clock Saturday evening, Christy's lifeless body was found on the pavement outside Southern California Hospital in Culver City. Someone had deposited her there. 2 hours after Christy's body was discovered, her 26-year-old friend Hilda was abandoned by someone outside another hospital. She was alive, but in critical condition. Hilda's family traveled from Mexico to Los Angeles as soon as they heard what had happened. They prayed that she would recover, but no miracle happened. After 2 weeks, it was confirmed that Hilda was brain dead, and the family made the difficult decision to take her off life support. The girl's organs were donated to those in need of transplantation. Her parents decided that this was a way for a piece of their daughter to live on in other people. Hilda was an ambitious architecture student from Mexico who had graduated with honors from Monterrey University and had recently landed her dream job as an interior designer for a Los Angeles real estate agency. It turns out that a third friend who was at the party with Christy that night was fine. It turned out she went home early. The post-mortem examination of the girls' bodies determined that the cause of their deaths was an overdose of illegal substances. Toxicological examination showed that Christy and Hilda had a mix of illegal substances in their bodies. There were no bruises, scratches, or any other signs of a struggle on their bodies. As of today, not all of the expert examinations are ready, and it is not known whether the girls were raped. It is not clear at all about the illegal substances, how they could be in the girls' bodies if they led a healthy lifestyle and never used them. The Los Angeles Police Department initially believed that the girls had taken the substances themselves and their overdose was fatal. But after later questioning the girlfriend, they changed their opinion. The friend stated that Christy and Hilda had met men at a party and had gone with them to another party, but who the men were, she did not know. She had not seen them before, but she was able to describe them. They were 4 men over 40 years old and 1 girl. They looked strange and even crazy. 2 of the men behaved indecently. They took off their shirts and started running. They seemed to be under the influence of substances. The others behaved modestly. The third man looked completely sober, walked around with a camera, and took a special interest in Hilda. The fourth man and the girl kept to themselves. They appeared to be a couple and were kissing. The whole company of men seemed too mature for such a party and stood out a lot. The friend said that a girl from that company was the first to approach her to make conversation, complimented her on her clothes, and then 2 men introduced themselves to her. The friend did not like this, and about an hour after this questionable company arrived, Christy's friend left the party with her brother. It's not clear why she left without Christy and Hilda and didn't even call him later to see if they were all right. The friend only became concerned about Christy and Hilda on Saturday afternoon, when neither girl answered her message and Hilda didn't show up for the concert they had tickets for. Hospital surveillance footage showed 3 men with masks covering their faces getting out of a car with no license plates, leaving the bodies and driving away. Christy's husband, upon learning of his wife's death, became distraught with grief. Jan knew that Christy had never used illegal substances and would never do so, and for a good reason. Her cousin had become an addict, and her close friend had died of an overdose, so substances were particularly distasteful to her. She had always led an active lifestyle, loved swimming, traveling, and skydiving. In his opinion, someone had slipped something into her drink. He took on an active investigation to find the culprits. The husband was able to use Christy's iCloud to access the messages his wife had sent before her death. It turned out that Christy sent the following message to Hilda at 5:30 a.m. "Let's get out of here," and added an emoji with big, scared eyes. Her friend texted her back, "Yeah, I ordered an Uber in 10 minutes. The friends never used the phone again. Obviously, the girls were scared and sensed some kind of danger. They wanted to leave, but apparently they were prevented from doing so. It is unknown what happened to the girlfriends for the next 12 hours. The husband also tracked her phone to apartment building 8641 on West Olympic Boulevard in Los Angeles, where the girls apparently went to a party. Her phone was there at 1:30 in the morning. The police found out that there were only 7 apartments in this building, and they even managed to find out in which particular apartment there was a party and who the girls came to it with. It was David Pierce's apartment, but he claimed that the girls took the substances voluntarily, and what happened to them, he does not know further. Just the other day, it was reported that police interviewed David's neighbors, and they said they heard strange sounds, similar to moans of pain, from his apartment throughout the day on Saturday. They also said that he had company over all the time and often had strange noises coming from his apartment. Other tenants from the first party also saw David Pierce and his friends at the party, and they were acting strangely. Christy's husband claims to know the men whom his wife and girlfriend left with. When Ian shared the story on social media, he received many messages from other girls with similar stories about these men taking them away from parties, drugging them, and raping them. But with the only difference, all these girls survived but were scared and did not go to the police. One of those men's ex-girlfriends wrote, "He is a dangerous man." Christy's frustrated husband said, "I don't know if we will ever get this case solved. If there is no justice against these men." Christy's father was a military officer and served in Iraq. He trained his daughters in self-defense. Christy and her sisters were so trained and prepared that they could have fought back against any attacker, even with a ballpoint pen. That's why the parents are still puzzled about what happened to their daughter. They realized that Christy would have defended herself to the end, but there were no signs of struggle on her body at all. Hilda's family demands justice for her and Christy. Hilda's parents are doctors, and they are sure that their daughter did not take illegal substances voluntarily. She knew from her parents the harm of the substances. Hilda loved sports, led an active lifestyle, went hiking. The girls' relatives are sure that they were drugged with illegal substances in order to rape them. But it looks like they overdosed. Then they got rid of the girls. What angers the parents the most is that these men had a chance to save Hilda and Christy's lives and take them to the hospital right away, but instead chose to abandon them to their fate. On December 16, 2021, the Los Angeles Police Department announced the arrest of 3 men in connection with the deaths of Christy Giles and her friend Hilda. David Pierce, 37, was arrested for manslaughter and is being held on $1 million bail. Michael Ansbach, 47, and Brand Osborne, 42, were arrested for accessory to manslaughter. Both are being held on $100,000 bail. These men were the last people to see the girls alive. A photo has emerged of Hilda pictured with David Pierce and Michael Ansbach at the very same party. Christy's phone location data showed that she and a friend went to Pierce's apartment near Beverly Hills with 3 men in the early morning hours of November 13th after a party in East Los Angeles. This was confirmed by neighbors. The same Toyota Prius car was parked outside Pierce's home as in the surveillance footage when 3 unidentified masked men left Christie and a friend outside the hospital. The 3 men were known partygoers. They were constantly hanging out in clubs and bars in Los Angeles, meeting girls at parties and inviting them to their homes. There, they allegedly raped them with illegal substances and then let them go. But apparently, in the case of Christy and Hilda, they miscalculated the dosage, leading to an overdose. The police is now collecting information from all the affected girls. Several girls have already been found who said they ended up in David Pierce's apartment in a similar way. They all believe that the men put substances in their drinks without their consent, and then the girls passed out and did not remember what happened. Several of the girls confirmed that the men also molested them, posing as movie producers and inviting them to auditions. As it turns out, Michael Ansbach was a videographer. Brand Osborne was an actor and starred in TV series and supporting roles, and David Pierce was known as a heavyset actor and producer who often posed with celebrities on the red carpet. He was once even photographed with adult film star Ron Jeremy, who was charged last year with more than 30 counts of sexual assault. It's unclear what their connection is. According to some fellow actors on set, Brant Osborne bragged about being with Christy Giles and Hyundai the night they died, and disdainfully revealed that he threw away their files. Actor Stephen Bauer, who played Scarface in the legendary movie Scarface, said he saw Pierce rape a girl at a house party in Beverly Hills back in 2008. But Pierce said at the time that the girl was lying, and now Stephen has realized it was true. After their arrest, the men were questioned by police, and they admitted taking the girls home from the party. But they claimed that they had taken the substances of their own free will and overdosed. They didn't know what to do at the time. They didn't want to call 911 and get in trouble. So, they decided to leave Christy's body outside the hospital, and they took the license plate off the car beforehand so they wouldn't be identified. Hilda's body was left later at the hospital because they were waiting for her to come to her senses. No surveillance footage has been released by the police as the investigation is ongoing. The GoFundMe account has raised over $130,000 to bury the girls or investigate the case. The amount is increasing every day. On November 20th, 2021, a memorial was held for Christie Giles in California. Friends laid flowers on the beach, carved a heart out of sand, and set up bushes and arches to honor the girl's memory in Marina del Rey.